Good evening, I'm John Carter. Welcome to Poland Daily. Leader of the ruling Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczyński, summarised the recent municipal elections in Poland, stressing that the United Right had definitely won. He also added that the results were a good sign for the future.
Yesterday evening, in the main facility of the ruling Law and Justice Party, there was an official meeting between the highest-ranking members. The leader of the party, Jarosław Kaczyński, and the Prime Minister of Poland, Mateusz Morawiecki, were both present. The meeting was a kind of a summary of the recent municipal elections in Poland. Today, Jarosław Kaczyński shared his conclusions with the public at a special press conference, proving with statistics and graphic maps that the Law and Justice had indeed won the elections.
Dane potwierdzające fakt, że wybory wygrał obóz rządzący.
Municipalities where the Law and Justice won are marked with color pink.
Następny slajd to...
In the next slide, counties in which we prevailed are in blue.
Powiaty zwycięskie dla Prawa i Sprawiedliwości. I ostatni slajd.
Last but not least, the provincial assemblies, which are the most important ones, you can easily tell the Law and Justice won here as well.
Samorządowe sejmiki.
These are down-to-earth statistics, numbers that speak for themselves. I understand that the political committees which lost are trying to paint a different picture, but that's just twisting the facts, to put it nicely. First of all, we should be looking at our score as a good sign for the parliamentary elections next year. Facts are what they are. The Law and Justice Party has definitely won the municipal elections. Kaczyński also added that the high election turnout proves that democracy in Poland is only getting better, and he thanked each and everyone who voted for doing so.
Donald Tusk's hearing in front of the Parliamentary Investigation Commission into the Amber Gold Ponzi scheme provoked another wave of comments regarding his possible return to the national political scene. According to commentators, even if Tusk does return, it won't bring anything positive to Polish politics.
After yesterday's hearing in front of the Parliamentary Investigation Commission into the Amber Gold Ponzi scheme, Donald Tusk tried to show an air of self-confidence. The former Prime Minister of Poland said that he's not afraid of being called in front of a different investigation commission examining the case of VAT tax fraud.
First, we will have European Parliament elections, after that Polish Parliament elections, so what's the point in disrupting the interrogator's mood? My government has very strong arguments in this matter.
The former Polish Prime Minister announced that he's not planning to take part in celebrations concerning the 100th anniversary of Poland regaining its independence. He also demonstrated his rudeness towards opponent politicians.
I wouldn't want a situation where everyone thinks that Poland is completely alone, because we all know that no one from abroad will show up. I am the President of the European Council. I'm a Pole, so I will take part in the official celebrations, but not because I was invited by the Law and Justice Party or the President. I respect that, I'm thankful for that, but it's not the main reason.
Asked by reporters about a possible return to Polish politics, Tusk tried to avoid the question. Are you considering being a candidate in any future elections in Poland?
I'm the President of the European Council, and you know how long my term of office will last.
The public relations expert Zbigniew Lazar suggested that Donald Tusk's declarations do not coincide with his political practice.
I never forget the situation when 3 weeks before his departure to Brussels, Tusk told the press that he is not leaving Poland because it's his home country. And then 3 weeks later he was in Brussels. This is a human that cannot stop himself from telling lies.
Not everyone is convinced if they want Tusk as a president or a prime minister.
Donald Tusk's role, just like any other Prime Minister or President of Poland, finished a long time ago, and I don't see any possibility of a return. The opinion polls show that opinions are divided. Some opposition politicians see authority in Donald Tusk, but they don't see a need for him to become the new Prime Minister or President.
Parliamentary elections in Poland would take place in the fall 2019 and presidential elections in the spring of 2020.
There seems to be no ends to the campaign aiming to discredit the Independence Day march in Poland and portray it as a fascist festival of hate. The outgoing president of Warsaw, Hania Gronkiewicz-Waltz, announced that she will not hesitate to disband the march if flares are lit. Red flares are often carried by attendees who want to celebrate the anniversary of Poland regaining its independence. The use of flares has never previously been a reason to disband the march.
The outgoing president of Warsaw, Hanna Gronkiewicz-Waltz, announced that she won't hesitate to disband the whole march if there are any inappropriate banners or flares present. Many Poles question her motives, as in previous years the Warsaw city officials didn't find flares or instances of fascist slogans as good enough reasons to put a stop to the whole event. An event which gathers thousands of Poles who simply want to celebrate the anniversary of Poland regaining its independence.
We'll be analyzing everything and taking pictures, and if there are as many flares as the last year, I will not hesitate to disband this manifestation.
We are prepared for a possible attempt by City Hall to disband the march, but we are still hoping to meet with their representatives so that we can explain that such a decision would only worsen the situation. What's more, the Obywatele RP movement announced its silent counter-demonstration at the Degola roundabout under the slogan Constitution. The leader of the organization, Paweł Kasprzak, stated that he doesn't want the world to associate the 100th anniversary of Poland regaining its independence with quote-unquote the largest neo-Nazi demonstration in Europe or even the whole world. Unfortunately, we are so divided that it's not possible to organize a single march for all. It's a case of people having different values. However, the groups who claim that the march sends a message to the world that fascists are marching in Warsaw, well, they themselves use communist rhetoric. Last year, between 60 to 100,000 people participated in the March of Independence. As this year marks the 100th anniversary of Poland regaining independence, the crowd is expected to be even larger.
The European Commission announced today that it is considering placing sanctions on Italy if the country doesn't agree to change its budget before November the 13th. Brussels had earlier rejected the Italian budget proposal for 2019, demanding that the government in Rome refrain from running a deficit in order to fill its costly campaign promises.
The Vice President of the European Commission, Valdis Dombrovskis, stated today that the Commission is considering starting a process aimed at placing fines on Rome or suspend the country's EU funds.
There are still several days for Italy to provide a formal answer, so it's by 13th of November that they need to provide an answer. As regards excessive deficit procedure, indeed, it is something which we are looking at.
Italy clashed with Brussels last month when it presented a draft 2019 budget that envisages an increase in the structural deficit by 0.8% of GDP next year, something that the European Commission argues would be against EU budgetary rules. Pierre Moscovici, the Commissioner for Economic Affairs, concurred today that the sanctions against Italy are on the table.
I was never in favor of sanctions. Sanctions are always a failure. It's a failure for the country which is sanctioned. It's also a sanction for the rules because they proved not to function or not to create a consensus. I want a dialogue. But again, sanctions can be finally applied if we cannot reach this agreement in the framework of common rules.
The Commission's decision to reject the Italian budget has been met with considerable anger in the country. When Moscovici announced the decision on October 23rd, an Italian MIP from Matteo Salvini's Lega party demonstrated his feelings by rubbing his shoe on Moscovici's notes. Moscovici later denounced the action, saying that such behavior shouldn't be ignored because one day you wake up and fascism has settled in. Brussels has already started the procedure intending to place sanctions on Hungary and Poland for allegedly breaking the rule of law. It now seems that Italy are up next.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather, and then join me after that for Poland Daily Business.